let's focus first on the best hidden potential build for the Z duo, and then at the end of the video, or I guess the second half of the video, I will be discussing the best build for the GT duo. Keep in mind that on the channel I will be doing a similar style of best hidden potential build for both part 2 LR, so stay up to date with that, as well as I have a whole 8th year anniversary playlist answering many of the questions you probably have right now. The link to this will be in the description below, but regardless, let's actually hop into it. And what's fascinating about both of these units here is that there is really no wrong way to build these characters, but there's definitely a few things you want to keep into consideration. So first, focusing on the Z boys here, they have an amazing ability on their 12 and 18 key to stack defense. Me personally, when I see a unit who is stacking defense, I immediately go additionals, because it's going to allow them to skyrocket that defense faster than what was previously, allowed without that hidden potential in their passive, right? So keep in mind that, let's say on any given rotation, you perform the 18 key super, you greatly stack your defense for the rest of the fight, and then this unit has 2 built-in additionals, so he can do a guaranteed additional at 24 key, and then a great chance of another at 18 key, and then any one of those super attacks could have procced an additional super attack, which again will allow you to raise defense essentially 4 times per turn, right, if the other 2 end up proccing. Now, many people will say that since this character can perform up to 2 additional super attacks from their passive, that going additionals doesn't really make much sense. And while I understand that, there's a lot of complaints about this character specifically and their level of defense. And if you really want their defense to look as good as possible, as fast as possible, I personally think going additionals or a heavy additional build is the best way to go. Keep in mind that they do, or basically are building up to a 50% chance to crit. So I would say going crit on this character doesn't really make too much sense. You can definitely maximize that crit ability. They have a 50% chance to crit. So if they're launching 4 super attacks per turn, you're probably going to see anywhere from 1 to 3 of those on a consistent basis perform a crit, which definitely is really, really good. So I wouldn't go crit on this character, but I do think there's a really good argument to at least giving this character a decent amount of dodge. And the reason why I say that is, remember, this character, there's a lot of complaints about this character's level of defense in the first few turns of a given fight. So going dodge will allow this character to stack up that defense while avoiding any potential hits. Now, if the boss doesn't or cancels dodge, then it is what it is, right? And that's those situations where I'd rather have additionals in this character. But I think a healthy mix of additionals and dodge is the best way to build this character, but more focused on the additional side of things. Again, going full dodge wouldn't really be a bad thing, because again, you're maximizing this character's ability to stack while essentially remaining unharmed, right? And keep in mind that they are going to be able to activate this standby skill fairly soon into a fight, and once this pops out, you're essentially untouchable. So I think when it comes to Goku and Vegeta, you want to avoid crit since you're building up to a free 50% chance. Additionals will help this character look a lot better, a lot faster, but going dodge will also help this character stack up without having the threat of being killed. Keep in mind, though, that when it comes to the hidden potential, every time, let me see if I can pull up Dokkan really quickly. Every single time that you essentially, let's go here, let's go to hidden potential. Every single time that one of these levels increase for additionals, it's essentially a 2% increase for every 1 level. So this Gohan right now has level 15 additional, or 15 combo attack, whatever you want to call it, which means that when he's in a fight, his additional chance is actually 30%. Same thing for crit, right? It's essentially double. The ratio is 2 to 1. But when it comes to dodge, it's a 1 to 1 ratio. So level 5 dodge is only giving him level 5 dodge is only giving me 5% chance to dodge. So for any given unit, if you go full dodge and have 10, 12 dodge on a character, including any skill orb stuff, you know, you're only going to have, like, let's say a maximum of around, you know, 8 to like 15% dodge chance, which is definitely better than nothing. But again, when a unit stacks defense, I heavily go full additionals, and I would definitely value, you know, if I have a physical character with, let me pull up God Goku, because I think God Goku, I think I have a decent amount of additionals built into that man. Where is the physical God Goku? Do I have any additionals built in? No, actually I don't, but you can see here, actually, yeah, so this guy has a decent amount of additionals, but he's at level 28, so this is essentially a 50% chance, over a 50% chance to perform an additional attack, which of course is really, really good. If I gave this character more, or, you know, higher levels, actually, is it possible to give him a higher level of a like additional build here? I don't think so, because remember, when it comes to physical characters, have the free additionals built in, so I don't think you can really give them. I mean, I guess you could go a little bit higher. Could they reach level 30? Yeah, they could. I can give this Goku a level 2 skill orb right here and have him reach level. It's a 60% chance right there to perform additional super attack. It's very, very good. So imagine giving the Z Duo, who have 4 chances, or I guess 3 built-in chances to perform super attacks. You're giving them a 60% chance to super, and that 60% chance is essentially being procced at every single super attack level. Now, of course, you have to get them, what's it called, like at least 79% to maximize that. But you understand the point, right? Let me know what you think about that, though. Now let's actually move on to the GT Duo. And again, just to quickly recap, just so I can actually flow into this a little bit better, additionals are good. Dodge makes a lot of sense for this character. When it comes to the GT Duo, any 3 really work, and I'm going to explain to you the benefits and essentially the cons of each. Like, if you go full dodge for this character, there isn't really anything wrong with that, right? Because again, you do have 3 built-in super attack. I guess you have your own super attack and then an extra 2 from the passive, so you can perform 3 super attacks, which means you're greatly raising your defense at least once per turn, and then raising your defense an extra 2 times per turn. When this character has their damage reduction completely built up, and they are launching 3 super attacks per turn, it's really, really hard to kill this character. So going dodge makes sense. You know, going additionals also makes sense, because let's say you're someone who says, okay, this character cannot stack defense, so I want to make sure they can raise defense as much as possible, which again makes sense. Stacking attack is cool. This character in the second slot with a few stacks are putting up insane numbers, by the way, so just keep that in mind. But I think with the stacking attack, going crit on the GT Duo also, would that make the most sense? I think going crit would make the most sense. With all the attack that you're stacking, going crit, allowing, you know, again, all these attacks to be crits are just you're going to see this GT Duo just doing insane, stupid levels of damage. This character with full crits and this character with full dodge or additionals, it's like the ultimate defensive unit and like the ultimate offensive unit. Now again, this GT Duo is better defensively with the damage reduction and after a few super attacks, but I mean, eventually in a long event, no one's touching the defense of the Z Duo here, right? With, you know, they're getting a million defense for like turn 7 or 8, which is just, again, incredibly stupid, given that you do have good luck with that, you know, those additional super attacks. But the point is here, all 3 make sense. I would err on the side of crit, because again, all this offensive stacking, when you mix that with the crit and all the attacks they're doing, the level, you just can't compete with that level of damage, right? However, going additionals to get extra stacks in make a lot of sense if you wanted this character to hit harder or faster. And then of course, going dodge also makes a lot of sense, but I think dodge makes more sense for this character, and crit makes more sense for this character. So if I were to say at the, like, for me personally, just to give you just like a bias personally, I'm going full additionals on both of these characters because I don't really care about this character critting or not. I value having this character raise defense as much as possible, especially since they don't stack defense. Like I know I just said defensive stacking, go additionals, but this character with 50% damage reduction is really, really good. Really stacking on top of that is also really, really good, but I want them to hit as much defense as possible before they get hit, which means another additional will be a really good benefit for them. But that's just me and my bias. I don't think that's the best way to build them. I'm just playing the game the way I want to play the game, and I think you should do the same. But if I had to give you a best build, I think you know, going more for crit on this character with a decent, maybe like a small balance of additionals and dodge is the best way to build this character. And then when it comes to the Z duo here, going, you know, do not put any crit on this character. A healthy mix of dodge and additionals is also what I would consider a good build. There is really no way to, there's like no right or wrong when it comes to building these characters. Again, like I told you, I'm going full additionals for both. I just don't care. That's just the way I like to perform. That's like the way I like to play the game, right? There is no right or wrong. But if you want to play to this character's strengths, crits and additionals I think are the best way to go. And to play to this character's strength, additionals and dodge are the best way to go. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed. I will see you. I mean, I cannot wait until you're in the stream when we are summoning for these characters. I have 10,000 Dragon Stones ready, and I can't wait to, after my summons, share the luck with you if I have any luck to spare. But I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and peace.